Please keep on fighting. That turned into a really long story. Hello and welcome, ladies. If you're one of my wonderful subscribers, welcome back. And if you're here for the first time, welcome. This is IRL Jax, where I share with you my journey through IVF, infertility, and everything else along the way. And today, I got a bit of a story. Because everything was calm and chill. Then it wasn't. So first off, I am fine-ish now. It is Sunday. This incident occurred on Thursday. So I've had a few days to recover and I'm not dying. But I don't feel super awesome, so that's why this kind of look is happening. Like I gave up. Like my hair, no. It wasn't happening today. I don't feel well enough for that nonsense. I put makeup on. That's what you're getting. Enjoy. The lighting's a little meh. Again, I wasn't gonna haul out my lights. We're getting the story out. I'm editing it. You're seeing it tomorrow. So here's what happened. The husband and I were working on regrouting our master bathroom because I'll show you here. It has this gorgeous black tile, and the grout was coming out of spaces you could like see all the way down to the bottom of the like baseboards. Like it just needed to be regrouted, and we re-caulked all around here. Look, it's clear. You can't even tell. It's like we didn't do anything. And then, oh look, see, it's not drying here. You can still see it. It's all white up in there, but that will dry clear like the tub. So all of the bathroom remodel things happened. And so we were working on that, and that involves like sawing out the old grout and cleaning it and vacuuming it. And we were working on that after work on Thursday night. In fact, I actually wasn't working that day. I had taken the day off to go to this interview. See? That was my update from the interview, where I was saying, oh yeah, about nervousness and stuff. Anyway, the point was I was perfectly fine. Filmed earlier that day. Came home, started working on this grout project, and I was fine, and then I was like, not fine, until the point where the husband's working on the bathroom project and I am curled up in the fetal position on the bed. This came on really suddenly. There were a few signs that I didn't quite like connect the dots on. We can talk about those later. It was just 9 on the pain scale, where I couldn't really move, and then when there was these pulses of pain, I couldn't really talk. I sat there whimpering for about 10 minutes before I was like, hey husband. He's like, oh, you're gonna come help? And I'm like, no, you need to take me to the hospital. So I wanted to make sure that I wasn't just being a baby, and this wasn't like a momentary stomach ache or really bad cramps, but it truly wasn't like anything I'd felt before. So we begin the process of trying to walk me from my bedroom to the car. I just double over. Like, I contemplated crawling, and instead I walked totally just completely horizontal, 90-degree angle. That was the only thing that gave me some relief, was to not, like, standing up was out of the question. That would have just made me pass out. So I was bent over, gripping the wall, gripping him, stopping every 5 steps, because that's about what I could take. Then I sat down on this little bench we have right by our back door, and I was like, okay, do you have our phones? He's like, no. And I was like, go get our phones. Because I don't know how I was competently making sentences, but I knew I needed a few things. I'm like, I know we need our phones, because my phone has my insurance and my ID, so I'm like, we at least gotta find mine. And we needed shoes. So I get into the back seat of the car, and I just become an egg. I totally tuck my legs up under me, and I just curl over, because that was the only thing. Like I said, becoming as small as possible, essentially making my stomach muscles as lax as possible, was the only thing that gave me any relief. And honestly, on the way to the hospital, like, there was some relief in the pain, and I started to be like, oh my gosh, maybe I am ridiculous and this is just going away. And I think my thought process was a smidge muddled by the pain at this point. I was like, I'm just being a baby. They're gonna tell me that it's my period, and I'm gonna feel the most embarrassed. We're never gonna speak of this again because I'm an idiot. Then they asked me to get into the wheelchair and sit like a reasonable person. And I got the confirmation I needed that I'm not being a baby, because that was excruciating and very hard. And I like kept leaning over in the wheelchair, and the nurse kept grabbing the back of my shirt. And she even said, she's like, it is 5 minutes from when I get off. I do not need you falling and hitting your head. Which I was like, at the time, I'm like, meh, okay. It was intentional. I wasn't passing out. I was just trying to bend over. Met a bazillion nurses and doctors over the next period of time, which turned out to be like an hour or two. And to me, it was an eternity. I'm not gonna lie. It felt like forever long. But a few things happened. One, they asked me if I was pregnant about 9,000 times. And they wanted to know when my last period was about 9,000 times, which is really just salt in the wound. Don't need to be asked all that. I get that they have to. But I was just like, no, I can't be pregnant. They ordered an ultrasound and got an IV started to give me some pain meds. So they gave me half a dose of a drug. I can't say it on here or else I'll get demonetized now that I'm monetized. But if this ever gets monetized, like, I can't say it or else they would demonetize me. So of a very nice pain medication, they gave me half a dose, and it really brought me down from an 8 down to a 3, which is just way more in the tolerable range. And I felt so bad because I was still in egg shape on the bed at the hospital, and they're like, you gotta lay back so we could do like they could feel my stomach, and so they could do my IV. And I was just like, okay. Never has laying down been such a task. Got some pain meds on board. Like I said, brought it down from an 8 to a 2 so I could speak again and be a normal human. They took some blood for blood work, took some urine away for urinalysis. They were checking for infections and things like that. I had to see if I was pregnant. And then they took me in to do an ultrasound, and it hurt. They did like an abdominal ultrasound. That hurt. But then he's like, we need to do a transvaginal ultrasound. Have you ever had one of those? And I literally laughed, which was kind of funny. I was like, yeah, I've had those. Then he went to go do it, and that was the worst pain ever. That was not a good point in time, and essentially we had to call it off, I don't know how many minutes, and it just hurt too much. It hurt too much, and I was crying by the end of it. Like, it was not good. The pain medicine did nothing to help with that. And he kept assuring me, he's like, we got a good study, we got a good study. I'm like, cool, let me out of here. Went back to my room, and of course I had been crying, so then the husband's freaked out because I look like I've been crying. So now he thinks it's like a pregnancy or something. And I was like, no, it's fine, it's fine. Not that, like, he can't tell me anything, but it's fine. Chill for a little bit more. The doctor comes in and explains that it's a hemorrhagic ovarian cyst. So kudos to me for calling that. So the husband had asked me back when I was saying, please take me to the hospital. He's like, what do you think it is? And I'm like, I don't know for sure, but the only thing I can think of that causes this much pain and this fast is like a cyst bursting. I'm like, that's a chance, right? There's always a chance that, like, I don't know, some random stroke happened, or these are kidney stones, or I don't know. But I'm like, given my history, I'm gonna go with cyst. And I was right. And what had happened is it was about an inch big, which you said is bigger than your ovary. So I had a cyst bigger than my actual ovary, and it had started to fill with blood, which is what had made it so painful. He said there wasn't evidence of it bursting, but it could also just not be visible. Like, there could be some rupture, but they wouldn't know it all. I still need to schedule an ultrasound with my normal OBGYN to get a follow-up to see if it's gone down or not, which I really need to do, because I don't think this cyst happened overnight. Getting to the part where this was really sudden, but now looking back, maybe not. Ever since my last DNC in September, I've been getting on and off pain in that region at various points in time that I won't get into. But there's been pain, and it's been like, oh, if I just move, then it's fine, or if that moment passes, then it's fine. And it's just one of those things where you're like, well, you know, if it happens, you know, again, then tomorrow I'll deal with it. But then it's not tomorrow, it's the day after that, and you're like, well, I should really wait to see if, you know, it happens. So I've been doing that for months with this pain until, I don't know, at some point a few months ago, I was like, yeah, this is just pain I have now. Anyway, so I don't know if it's the same cyst or if it's just this one that's been getting bigger and irritated and bumped as I exercise and everything. Now at least I know what that type of pain is and that region, like what it is, so I don't ignore cyst anymore. yeah, so I got sent home with anti-inflammatory drugs and some pain medicine. Took off work on Friday because I needed pain medicine just as soon as I could take the next one. I was, because it was still really bad, even just to like be, and only sitting perfectly still, like propped up with pillows, was helping. Then by Saturday, it was a little bit better. I could walk from like the kitchen to the bedroom without it hurting. But then I went to Comic-Con like a responsible adult because I wanted to, and we already had tickets and I really wanted to go. So here are the little bit I shot at Comic-Con. I didn't shoot a lot because I instantly felt really bad. I had to take pain medicine to make it through, and I only made it through about half before I called it quits, which I felt bad. It was my father, Papa Jay's, first time going to Comic-Con, and so I wanted him to have the experience, but I was like, I am fading so fast. Came back home, chilled for the rest of the day. And that brings us to today, where my pain now, even without pain medications, is a 0 to 2, depending on what I'm doing. So if I'm up and walking, and if I like tried to put away dishes, okay, that irritated things and like made it a little bit more painful, but it's managed just with the anti-inflammatory meds, which are also mild pain meds. Doing better on that account. I will go get a checkup this week. I'll go get an ultrasound to see what's going. Hopefully it is not as painful as the one I got in the hospital. I have to imagine it'll be better, and I'll keep you updated on that. So after we got discharged from the hospital with my pain meds and like the orders to go get an ultrasound later this week, we had to go actually pick up my prescription meds, and so we got ice cream, right? Because that's what you do after you it's 8:30 at night, 8:30, 9:30 at night, and I was like, I don't even care. Like, this is what happens, right? You get hurt and you go get ice cream. At home, I just went instantly to sleep. Stuff like that is just so exhausting, and I had been so tense and rigid all night. Like, my body was just so shaky, kind of like after a good, like a workout, but just so shaky because I've been so tense all night. Oh man, some days PCOS kind of sucks, and I'm a little bit surprised I haven't dealt with any huge cysts before. It seems pretty common. This one just kind of obviously just whacked me upside the head and took me down. My caution, or these medications, is making it better. We'll wait until the ultrasound to see if it's actually better. But that is it for now. I hope all of you are having a better week than I am. And until next time, ladies, keep on fighting.